Okay, hello everyone. Today I'm gonna count down my top 15 movies. This is my first time just talking to the camera, so I'm not all that comfortable, to be honest. So let's start. My criteria for a favorite film are: have I seen it more than once? Does it improve upon multiple viewings? Its impact and the quality of the film. Of course, this is all subjective. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. And if you want, you can comment down below what are your favorite movies. What do you think of my list, and what do you think should be on my list? Considering everything else on there. So my first movie is Apocalypse Now. It's hard to explain how good it is. There are a lot of video essays and just a lot of good things said, and I think it's common consensus that Apocalypse Now is one of the great movies, and it's directed by Francis Ford Coppola, who also directed the Godfather trilogy. The first time I watched Apocalypse Now, I fell asleep just because it's 3 hours long. It's the extended cut, and the second time I watched it, I actually tried to focus, and it's crazy. The second time I watched it, the ending just hit me so hard that I couldn't move much afterwards. Next is American Splendor. I like how the film combined the comic book elements as well as the film elements. It both appeals to non-movie people and people who are interested in film. Next is Doctor Strangelove, or it's a long name. Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. It has that dry humor. If you're not into that sort of humor, I don't think the comedy aspect is gonna appeal to you. But since it is a Stanley Kubrick film, the visuals are appealing. It's very nice to look at. I think the way the story is told also has something to do with it. How it's told from different perspectives, from a military base to the war room to the plane, and you see how all the characters play together. It's just very entertaining. Next is On the Waterfront. Great acting, great story. Next is Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. This is a newer film, and it's just a well done film, because one of my pet peeves about some movies are it doesn't really do anything interesting visually, especially because movies are a visual medium. I think that not every filmmaker takes advantage of that. Next is the Meyerowitz stories, new and selected. It's just a very good and thoughtful exploration. The film doesn't gloss over anyone, and it humanizes all of the siblings. And one of the things that surprised me most was Adam Sandler's performance. I haven't seen a lot of his films, but the few that I did see, it doesn't seem like he's too into it. He's just kind of there doing his thing. But the My Rich Stories, new and selected, this is the first film that I saw him really act, and with such depth that I haven't seen before. So I think he's the star of the show. Everyone's putting a good performance, but I think Adam Sandler gives the best performance. It comes from the heart, I think. The filmmaking of Noah Baumbach, it's just, he got a lot of attention for Marriage Story, and Marriage Stories is pretty good too. Next movie is Paterson, directed by Jim Jarmusch. I haven't seen a lot of his other films, but I plan to, just because Paterson is freaking awesome. It's a peaceful movie. Next is Darjeeling Limited. This is a Wes Anderson movie. There's an entire section where there's no music. It's the journey that the characters take. You can really feel the weight of everything they've experienced. Yeah, it's just intense feeling to have, and not a feeling that I get with a lot of other movies. Next is Seven. Seven is David Fincher's second movie, but I think he considers it his first. Without having to sell it too much, I think you should just watch it. Next is Mean Streets. I think Martin Scorsese intended it to feel comfortable and make it feel like you've known all these characters. I think that's what lends to its efficacy as a movie. Reservoir Dogs. I don't like Pulp Fiction too much. I think it was overhyped for me, so when I did watch the movie I had the highest of expectations. So when I did watch Pulp Fiction, it didn't affect me the way I wanted it to affect me, so that may just be my problem. But between Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, I like Reservoir Dogs better. I like how it's self-contained. Clearly see the style early on. It shows a lot of kinetic energy just in the first movie. And it has everything that makes his movies great. It's got great dialogue and same kind of like irreverence and violence, and it's just a fun movie. And it's well made, so Reservoir Dogs. Rosemary's Baby. I watched this when I was on a big horror movie binge, and it's probably what kind of turned me over to horror. I didn't like to watch a lot of horror because I'm a bit of a wiener, but when I watched Rosemary's Baby, it's helped me overcome that fear of just watching something scary and just like enjoying something. And Rosemary's Baby isn't like a typical horror movie. I watched Hereditary and I think, oh yeah, Rosemary's Baby did that, stuff like that. Now that every time I watch horror, what I used to like measure the quality of a horror movie, it's like, yeah, this movie is good, but if I compare it to Rosemary's Baby, where does it rank? Stuff like that. I think it's got like really good horror movie elements, and the style of it and how the scares and the dread that you feel. I think it's a perfect horror movie. Next is The Big Lebowski. Jeff Bridges and everyone's performances just crack me up, and it just tickles me. It doesn't really go anywhere. If you are looking for something probably different from everything else you've seen, then you should probably see The Big Lebowski. Jaws. I didn't expect to like Jaws that much. I checked it out because of Every Frame Paintings video about Steven Spielberg's style. It's one of those films that when you watch it, you definitely feel that the director's in full control. Well, the one time I made a narrative film, I took a lot of techniques from it, and after you watch Jaws, you can definitely see the influence there, just because Jaws is an influential movie for me. If you're interested in like seeing where I come from filmmaking wise, you just want to watch like a really well made film, just watch Jaws. Last but not the least, Lost in Translation, Sofia Coppola. The movie's just got this kind of feel to it, What the movie does so effectively is capture that feeling and have a story that is pretty simple but really engages you in its characters, and it's a very nice film to watch. That ends my list. Feel free to comment down below what are your favorite films. Maybe I'll check it out. Maybe we can have an exchange of recommendations.